Let's talk about the evolution of Web 1, 2 to 3. Now, Web 1 started around 1991, during the dot-com era. And then Web 2 started around 10 to 11 years later, around 2001, 2002. And with the centralized platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and that really marked Web 2. And then Web 3 really only started about 2 years ago, like in 2017 and 2018. So Web 1 was really only read-only static, and you couldn't really write anything back to the site. You could only read it. And then in Web 2, you could both read and write, right? So in Web 3, it's way more than that. In Web 3, it really redefines how Web 3 is going to revisit some of the best points of Web 1 and then bring it up and then make it owned by the audience themselves, right? Okay, so if you look at this slide, some of the items there are quite familiar to you. So Web 1 was really like an encyclopedia. And in Web 2, you have quite a number of these sites like WhatsApp, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest, and so on. Yeah, but in Web 3, you might find some of these icons familiar. I think some of you are quite familiar with Web 3. So in Web 3, you can see like right in the middle here, you have this Fox, which is actually MetaMask. MetaMask is a wallet, and then you have, of course, the cryptocurrencies of Bitcoin, and you have Ethereum, and some of the other decentralized applications. But from Web 3, it's really leading into the Metaverse, right? So we're going to talk a little bit about the Metaverse as well. Web 3 is really decentralized, and it's about proof of ownership, sovereign identity. When you have a Web 3.0 behind the tree, it's when you have semantic and AI. Semantic means to say that it is a intelligent web. The web actually goes around searching information for you on its own, driven by AI. And there's a difference between Web 3 and Web 3.0. So Web 3 is decentralized, proof of ownership, sovereign identity, but 3.0 is where it's really semantic and AI based, right? Okay, so that's really the future, and we're getting there. Yeah. So why Web 3 now? Because there is a displeasure in centralization, and people want to return to the true roots of the internet. So it's about giving control back to the users using blockchain technology, decentralized storage, and a universal self-sovereign identity. What is this self-sovereign identity? It means to say that you no longer give all your data, your personal data, to platforms like Facebook and Instagram, which are just taking advantage of it to do advertising and promotions, right? So you are able now to control your identity within your wallet, and then your wallet basically carries the fingerprint of who you are when you travel from one decentralized application to another, or even through the metaverses that you know of right now. Yeah. So which generation founded it? It was the end of the X generation, which was the beginning of the Y generation. So Gavin Wood, who was one of the co-founders of Ethereum, he's born in 1981, right? So he's kind of like end of the X generation and the beginning of Y. Yeah, and he was the one who really wanted to bring it back to Web 3. Yeah. So, but it's really touching the Z and the Alpha generation today. So with Web 3, it's really a maturing of technologies like AR, VR, mixed reality, and you probably heard of XR as well. XR would be extended reality, and they all help to create tools for the metaverse. So what is the metaverse? Now, Citibank says that the metaverse could be worth $13 trillion by 2030. Now, is that true? It could be bigger, it could be less. It really depends on how we adapt and how we are going to use the Web3 technologies to move ahead. So if we don't embrace Web3, we might not get to the extreme functionality that we could discover in the metaverse, right? So there's so many different areas that the metaverse can take advantage of. You have entertainment, advertising, social commerce, education, healthcare, services, manufacturing. And as you look at the right side, it's getting more into the corporate side. But on the left side, it's more on the individual side, and it's more on the commercial business side, right? Okay. So what is the metaverse? The metaverse stands for beyond, and means beyond the universe. So a true metaverse must be decentralized. It has to have a virtual economy. That means to say, like in all of these games that you see where it really started, people can go in and play those games, and they can make assets within those games, and then they can resell those assets for cryptocurrencies, right? Which are the currencies found in Web3, because you have to use cryptocurrencies in order to be able to buy and sell in there. And it's supposed to be interoperable, but due to the nature of every DApp, which is decentralized application founder, wanting to keep to their control of their own platform, interoperability is very, very hard to achieve, actually. Yeah. But we're all trying to get there. Yeah. So all of them have collective 3D spaces, and it's persistent, meaning to say it never sleeps. It's always on 24/7, and you can get into it and can get out of it. Now, Microsoft Mesh on the bottom right is definitely not a true metaverse because it's not decentralized. And similarly for Horizon Worlds, which is by Meta, by, of course, the founder of Facebook. So he doesn't want to give you that true decentralization. So they're not truly decentralized, right? But the rest are typically decentralized. Where are the metaverse industry verticals? You can find them in gaming, socialization, corporate, commerce, and education. So Web3 enables the metaverse to function. It is because of the blockchain's decentralization, the ownership and identity layer that we talked about, and the money layer, it provides a trustless environment which is decentralized. Proof of ownership using proof of ownership of digital and physical assets. And you can carry your identity across different metaverses and across different dApps through your wallet, which then stands for you as an identity. And then the money layer, of course, right? Which you don't find in Web 2.0. Now, the money layer is very important because it will return back benefits to the user. So just imagine, for example, if Facebook were to reward you every time they send you an advertising or promotions, right? How great would that be? Because then you actually get to benefit from it. Now, Web3 is supposed to do this, right? Okay, so just keep these 4 things in mind: decentralization, ownership, identity, and the money layer. Now, the ecosystem of Web3 and its major players, right? Who are they? So it's a very, very big ecosystem. So I'm just going to go through very, very quickly. If you have any questions, right, we can dive deep maybe after I speak, and then also over the next few workshops as we go along. Okay, so the first thing about Web3 is the blockchain. The blockchain is a network. It's formed by blocks, which are recorded into a ledger, which is decentralized across many, many computers around the world. And every time this data is exchanged, right, it is kept immutable, and there's no double accounting, right? So all the various blockchains that you see here, from Ethereum, Polygon, Solana, Algorand, Avalanche, Polkadot, Phantom, Clayton, they all have got special different areas of specialty offering on top of this huge blockchain that they've all created on their own, right? So they have all launched their own blockchain. Now, are they interoperable when you move from one blockchain to another? Now, Polkadot was meant to serve that, right? So as far as possible, the Web 3.0 Summit, which is spearheaded by Gavin Wood, is trying to achieve that so that all the assets and all the cryptocurrencies that record those assets, as well as the utility tokens that run the blockchain, are eventually supposed to be interoperable. And they're supposed to be trustless. Trustless means they say that you don't have to trust somebody else in order to have a transaction done. It is being permitted by smart contracts, which are written in algorithm based on what your intent is. And when that specific incident occurs, according to the smart contract, the transaction is executed. Yeah. So that's basically the idea of what blockchains are. And then there are the exchanges behind Web3. Now, you might have a Bitcoin and you want to transfer it, exchange it into an Ether, for example, right? You can go in with a Bitcoin, go to one of the exchanges like Coinbase on the left, and then you can exchange it into Ether. Or you could go on the right, go into a decentralized exchange like Uniswap and do the same. Now, but what is the difference between centralization and decentralization? Is that in a centralized exchange, they control the wallet that you hold within the exchange. Whereas on the decentralization, you use your own wallet to go in there and you hold your private key, which is called non-custodial. Yeah. By having this, you completely control your wallet, whereas in the centralized exchange, they control your wallet. We'll talk a little bit more on the next slide. Now, then there's also other kinds of operators within Web3, which are like the market information services. You have CoinMarketCap on the left, and then you have CoinGecko. So these are the two major market information platforms which tell you how the cryptocurrencies are moving in the market. Okay, so, and what's next? DeFi. Decentralized finance is a very, very large component of Web3. Now, the same decentralized exchanges just now on the right, they are part of the whole operated behind decentralized finance. They create these liquidity and staking pools where you can pump your cryptocurrencies there, earn an interest, and even lend them out, and somebody else can borrow it. Yeah. So it's kind of like the banks who are taking your deposit and then using them to loan it to somebody else. So instead of the bank earning most of the interest, in the decentralized finance world, you as the lender earn most of the interest, whereas the platform itself earns only a small commission in order to facilitate that lending and borrowing. Yeah. So it's an exciting world in that the centralized finance that we know that's being controlled by central governments is now being offered an alternative in decentralized finance, right? So some of the other decentralized applications are the actual DAPPS themselves, which they can be decentralized cloud. We all know cloud, right? From Web 2, for example, Dropbox, Amazon, they're all very, very well-known clouds where you can subscribe to the service. You can then use that to store your information. But in the decentralized world, you go to places like Pinata, IPFS, Interplanetary Filing System, where the cloud is not located within a centralized server of a centralized platform. Your data is now decentralized across many, many thousands of computers all across the world, all running the protocol that has been provided by that platform, which means to say that if you lose your data in one server, you still have the other servers that are backing it up. So it's the same concept as blockchain, right? The same concept as Bitcoin. Even if you try to steal Bitcoin from one ledger, okay, there are still many thousands of other ledgers that show that that the record has been untouched, and it's very, very hard to attack the distributed ledger in blockchain. Right? So it's always driven by smart contracts and by algorithms. Now, then there's also the decentralized autonomous organization. You might have heard of this term called the DAO. The DAO is very exciting because when we talk about the Launch Me platform later, you will learn that we are going to be using a DAO to run the platform, eventually giving control back to the community. Now, what is a DAO? Now, imagine a company, right, that is run by a board of directors. Now, these board of directors have already decided that they want to pass on their control of the company into an automated process. And it's going to be automated by contracts, smart contracts, which are written into the blockchain, in that whenever certain conditions occur, that smart contract would kick up and then cause a transaction to occur. For example, if as a board of directors, we determine that this year, if our company valuation hits $1 million, right, we will sell off the company. Okay, so that's written in as an algorithm, and as soon as these conditions occur, that DAO, which represents the company or the organization which is on Web3, will be sold for a particular price. Okay, so this is how a DAO works. And it doesn't need to have the persons coming back together again to vote. Yeah, the voting has been done, and it's been transferred into a smart contract, which is an algorithm that will execute the decision as soon as the conditions are met. Okay, so DAOs are very exciting. Another one is decentralized social. We all know Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, TikTok. Now, those are the platforms of today's Web 2.0. Now, in Web 3.0, these socialized media platforms will have to be decentralized, giving the power back to the community. Meaning to say that whatever the community puts up, whether you're sending a picture to the platform, you're doing a video, you're giving a review, a rating, you are sharing your assets and value across the platform to another user on the platform, you own the data. Okay, the data belongs to you. So you'll notice that I placed the LFM in there, and that's what the Launch For Me platform is. We basically enable the user to own all their content, right, including the live stream videos, and as well as the earned benefits, which I'll talk a little bit afterwards, which is very exciting. Now, who are the other players in the Web3 ecosystem? They are like technology providers. These are the people who provide the software development kits, the SDKs, and also the software development environments. They create the things like the custodial and non-custodial wallets, which I talked about earlier on when I mentioned about the centralized and decentralized exchanges. So they provide some of these software programs in order to build these infrastructure, because as you all know that technology, right, is so deep and wide in that if you want to launch an application fast, you've got to be working with other software components in order to build it up together. So one of the other very, very important Web3 ecosystem players are the market players. You probably know OpenSea. OpenSea is where everybody launches their NFTs, right? And you find that it's got everything in there. And then on the far right, you have Christie's. Christie's is a marketplace as well, but Christie's only opens up the electronic marketplace once in a while, and they are by invitation only. Okay, so you have the open, and then you have the close, and the boutique, and then you have the curated right in the middle. So our platform is really a curated, semi-open. We make it such that launchers who launched first time on the platform, whatever they launch there as an NFT, the users who come in and buy those NFTs can resell them by upgrading themselves as a reseller. This is so that the quality of the NFTs are properly curated and the ownership is properly ascertained. Yeah. I'll explain a little bit more about what LFM does and how it can benefit you as a service provider or as a product supplier as well. Yeah. Now, what are NFTs and why are they important? Yeah, this is a very, very important topic. I'm just going to jump over into NFTs because NFTs are really the major components of Web 3.0 because NFTs, they carry value across the whole Web 3.0 ecosystem. So what are they? They are just like cryptocurrencies, except they are not fungible in the sense that a cryptocurrency is such that when you have one Bitcoin in your wallet, my Bitcoin in my wallet is equivalent to your Bitcoin in your wallet. And we can easily swap or exchange it. But the NFT in your wallet is different from the NFT in my wallet because it's not fungible. Your NFT represents something unique, and my NFT represents something unique. As a token, it represents possibly a digital asset, a physical asset, or rights and privileges. And imagine, right, if an NFT could be used to link to your products and services whenever you want to launch a very important, unique, highly valued NFT into the Web 3.0 ecosystem, you would use an NFT. So NFTs must have utility today. Now, just going back here, right, you'll find that there's a lot of NFTs in OpenSea today, which are just purely digital assets. And the whole market for NFTs have really been driven down to the ground recently because they call it the crypto cold spell. Cryptocurrency prices have really dropped. And NFT prices have also dropped at the same time because those NFTs found at OpenSea, they are only selling digital art. They're not representing real-world assets. I'm going to be talking about real-world assets in the sense that if these NFTs could represent real valuable assets in the real world, whether they are hard or soft, meaning to say whether they are products or their services. Now, wouldn't that be amazing, right? Then that value will be preserved, just like what's happening on Christie's on the right side here. So let's dive a little bit deeper. Now, currently NFTs are found as digital collectibles, as I mentioned, and then in-game assets are found in games like Roblox, Fortnite, Sandbox, Decentralised, and then real world assets I'm talking about where Blockbar has been launching their very high valued alcohol and wine, but they are missing one thing. They're missing the amazing experiences that they could combine with selling these real world assets. So now this guy with 3 million followers on Web2 social media is going to Web3, providing rights and privileges. Now, this guy, he started in the early 90s selling wine because his parents had a vineyard. And eventually he built up a huge social media empire, and he runs a digital marketing agency. And he's got 3 million followers on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and on the podcast as well. So he said that the NFT is really the future. It's going to be even bigger than the internet, in the sense that NFTs represent huge values, and they can be used to represent anything from cars to houses to boats, yachts, to anything that's valuable. Of course, we know that there's a lot of legacy systems, attached to property, title, and so on. But imagine if you could launch something that has got huge value, and this is what he did. He launched his own cards in combination with Uno, and then he brought it out to one of the major departmental stores in the US, and he calls them the V-Friends cards. So when you buy these NFTs that he has just recently launched, in fact, they were sold out, right? He's made like 5 million in the first hour that he launched his NFTs. So what does it come with? Apart from these digital art pieces, which come with the NFT and also the playing cards, it also includes special attendance to his events, because he runs a number of events in the US, and he talks about social media, how everybody, even professionals, should run their social media channels. And everybody loves to spend time with him. So he's giving gated privileges to meet up with him and to have lunch and dinner with him and to rack his brain, right? To find personal consultation time with him. And he's been able to sell NFTs like that for a few $1,000s per pop, right? Per NFT. And he sold thousands of them. Yeah, so that's really the future of NFTs, where you sell privileges, experiences to people that want to have them, right? So what does it mean for like people, like practitioners, like architects, or even feng shui practitioners, which we spoke to? It means to say that you can wrap your privileges within a very unique and scarce NFT, which is marked by a special digital art that represents your narrative, your storyline, what you stand for, and then offer it for sale either as a direct purchase or for bidding, right? If it's very, very much sought after, like Gary Vee's V-Friends. So it is a proof of ownership, and the addressable market is huge. In fact, by 2022, right, which is this year, was estimated to be 40 billion. It's already exceeded that for NFTs, which are just digital art. But in the future, right, by 2030, it's going to exceed 231 billion, because it's not just going to be digital art collectibles like in OpenSea or even in-game assets. It's going to be representing very, very unique, valuable NFTs, which are representing assets that you see here, the rights and privileges that are tied up with it, and of course, experiences that go along with it. So now you have the NFT, right? Now the NFT has to be put into a Web3 wallet. Let's call it the NFT wallet. So what's important about the NFT wallet? Now the NFT wallet has got true power, because imagine this wallet, right? You're going to put NFTs that represent major value in there. And 10 years time, right? All these various NFTs, which represents assets, rights, privileges, experiences, they're going to be inside somebody else's wallet if you happen to be the product or service provider, right? So, for example, here we have a friend who invited us for the Feng Shui convention, Mark Tan from Wei Feng Shui. He will be selling NFTs that would represent some of the most highly valued services that it's going to provide, including some of the physical assets that it's going to combine together with the NFT. People are going to own it, and in 10 years' time, they are still going to be able to see the NFT in the wallet. Now, the beauty of the NFT, that you can timestamp it. You can show the authenticity that you own it. You have the price on the NFT. It's immutable, and you can resell it. And each time you resell it, the launcher gets a royalty. So there's so many benefits with it. Now, imagine if you were a launcher, right? You launch some of these NFTs. Every time it's resold in the secondary market, somebody will be able to enjoy your NFT privileges, and at the same time, you get a royalty out of it, right? It's just like the digital art collectibles that you see in OpenSea, same principle. Now, the power of the wallet is such that whatever that you put into that wallet, even if you capture 20 years from now, when you look back, because the blockchain is immutable, and you can't really attack a blockchain, because once any of those major blockchains are out there, you can't destroy it, right? Which means to say all the records of those blockchains will also not be destroyed. It just means that your NFT will be recorded on those blockchains, showing real proof of ownership, and it's never going to go away. So you can actually will your wallet over to your loved ones, to your next generation. So now we're seeing, like, in the functional community, people practitioners wanting to influence the younger generation, right? Especially the Y and Z and Alpha generations. And they want their younger generations to be able to catch on to the feng shui understanding. They are using NFTs to bridge the gap, to bridge the chasm between the different generations, right? So you can now write your will by referencing it together with your physical will as something you can pass on to your next generation. How do I profit in the Web 3.0 ecosystem? By using NFTs to bridge across the Web 3 chasm. So simply getting to the metaverse without value is meaningless. NFTs are needed. So here you are, and you want to get into the metaverse, or you want to get into any of the other ecosystems within Web3, you've got to use the NFT to carry the value. So NFTs link proof of ownership of value around Web3 and into the metaverse. This is an incredible commercial opportunity for creators, startups, small brands, consultants, and practitioners to sell NFTs linked to solution, services, and products. Now, what are brands using NFTs for? They're using NFTs to get into the metaverse, build brand advocates and communities, because NFTs got digital art on the face. And if you follow the branding model, like the Kellis model, imagery is a very, very important part of branding. And the imagery will connect you to a community. That's the reason why BAYC, Bored Ape Yacht Club, was sold so well in OpenSea, where at one time they were fetching up to $200,000 per NFT. And that's because the community wanted to buy into each of those 1,000 NFTs to show that they were part of the community of elite members, right? Okay, so you can use that to build a community that you can reach out to and directly, right? Okay, so you can also recapture brand resale value, build desirability and engagement, drive new revenue streams. Now, Gen Z and Gen Y and Alpha Gen, they want more. They want NFTs to embody extraordinary experiences, rights, and privileges. So that can all be done within the smart contract of the NFT. Now, NFTs are the bridge to the metaverse, as I mentioned. Now, what are people doing here? Fashion designers are designing three-dimensional clothing in order for the customer's avatar to be dressed and identifying themselves within some of these games like Fortnite, Roblox, and so on, which is the metaverse, right? So they can also be just put onto a two-dimensional picture of the person, and these are featured within the profile of Web 2.0 platforms like Facebook. But let me just talk about now what we offer as a platform, the key benefits of Launch For Me. Now, we've identified, right? So our co-founders, Julia and myself, have been in the e-commerce space since early 2000. And we've seen how Facebook, Instagram, and some of these other platforms came about. And up to today, we've seen how they've risen, and over time, how they are losing traction. we found that Facebook started to lose traction as soon as Apple forbade them into their new version of the Apple iPhone. And also because of Web 3.0, where people are starting to feel that they want to own that ownership. They don't want to have Facebook using their identity and their data for advertising, right? But very importantly, we noticed that in Web 2, omni-channel marketing is now getting very costly and complicated because there's so many platforms. You got to be out there on different platforms. And there's no way to prove ownership of those content, because once it goes out there, people can take your content and share it on their sites as well. And you can't benefit from product reselling or service reselling because you have to go onto a different platform to do that, right? So our solution is that we want to be able to specialize all our launching on one channel. So if you ever feel like you wanted to launch something unique and special, right, you've got to launch here because it's highly specialized for that. It's very, very economical to launch. In fact, you don't need to pay anything just to launch your NFT. And then you can have a direct-to-community virality. You can actually launch airdrops. I'll talk a little bit about airdrops in the next workshop, the one after the next one, which is the third workshop. What airdrops are about? So airdrops are really NFTs, but they are sent out for free to your community, complimentary. And your community can then use the privileges within the airdrop to be able to get closer to you, the brand owner, and then learn about you more, right? Because you know that building a brand is all about building your personality and your connection with the community themselves so that they will feel brand love with you. Yeah. The platform is also live, entertaining, and fun. I'll show you the platform. It gives you secure ownership authentication, liquidity for reselling, and of course, you get your royalties as well. And very importantly, right, NFTs enable you to measure the post-sales results because NFTs on the blockchain represent big data, right? So big data can be mined, and then you can see how often your NFTs were sold, how much it was sold for, and you can get a lot of analytics from there, right? So this is one of the most well-kept secrets of Web3, in the sense that social in Web3 is going to be one of the biggest players within the ecosystem. So finally, we enable monetization rewards to every user. We'll just dive deep into it, and then I show it to you what we're trying to do right here. Okay, so I just talked about airdrops. Now, we also offer live stream videos. It's going to be exciting because we're going to have brands doing battles. It's something very interesting. You've all heard of like American Idol, UK's Got Talent, Iron Chef, and many, many other reality series. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to make brands or allow brands to come in to battle against each other. Now, brands, when they battle each other, it's a very, very exciting thing because it brings a lot of attention to you. Why? Because every time you battle with another brand, you will bring out the difference about yourself from the other brand, because no brands are the same in terms of their products and services. And when you battle against each other, you will build stronger community because your community will support you. And if your community supports you, they'll purchase more from you. If they vote for you, and if you win the battle because you sold more value through NFTs, they get to benefit as well with coins from the platform. Yeah. Then we also recommend collaborations where two brands can collaborate together and they can form up an even stronger brand launch of value in their NFTs, or you can go solo, right? Currently, we're talking to a very big institution in Singapore, very, very important brand, and we want to bring brands over to that institution there, that location, and have these solos, battles, and collabs, as well as very special experiences, rights and privileges being offered within that location, and so that everybody within the ecosystem can benefit. So we are hoping that after this workshop, we will be able to talk to you about that as soon as we get more information from the institution. Now, the other real aspect of Web 3.0 is that everybody who uses Web3 is going to benefit from using any of the decentralized application platforms out there. In Launch For Me, we're offering earn benefits. We'll be launching an LFM coin, which stands for Launch For Me coin. It will be a brand token which will represent a USDC coin, a US dollar coin. Now, USDC is owned by a company called Circle, which has one of the biggest asset managers on the planet called BlackRock behind it. Now, every one of these USDC coin is equivalent to $1. So the LFM coin is equivalent to $1 US. So every time somebody comes in and uses the platform, this is going to create virality and giving benefits back to the user. For example, if you're a really good launcher on the top left and you have a high relevance score, we're going to reward you. Yeah. If somebody votes for your battle and you win, we reward them. And feedback to earn is whereby if somebody gives you incredible feedback and you feel that the feedback was constructive, you reward them with the coins, right? Or your coin, if you set up your own private channel, you will have your own coin. Let's say your brand is called ABC. You will set up ABC coin, and then people give you really good feedback. You will give them some coins as well, right? So the whole idea is to stimulate and to motivate your audience and to build a connection with them. Yeah. So this is probably the only platform that gives benefits to the launchers, the merchants themselves. Whereas in most Web 2.0 platforms like Shopee, Lazada, and so on, they only give coins and benefits to the customers, but not to the merchants. And then there's learn to earn, right? Anytime our users learn about how to set up airdrops, just like you're learning in the academy right now, we actually give benefits to you, the learner, as soon as you hit certain milestones in your learning and you become a launcher. But the most important thing right in the center is called permit to earn. Permit to earn represents the true net worth of Web 3.0. Because in today's Web 2.0, for example, in Facebook, whenever Facebook uses your data in your channel, when you put a lot of posts up there, they use your posts, they use your channel, and then people come to your site, and then you have to pay for advertising, right, to Facebook, right? Those people who are in digital marketing, you understand about outbound marketing and inbound marketing. Outbound marketing is where you turn on the tap, you pay money to Facebook, and then Facebook gives you their database to advertise to. Whereas for inbound, you actually build up your marketing through content-based marketing, which is what we are trying to do here. Now, each time they advertise to someone using their database, which was created out of everybody's joint efforts, they do not compensate anything to the people that they're advertising to. So we want to ask the people, the users who are on our platform, whether they permit us to market to them. And if they say yes, you can market to us based on the category of my interest, they get benefits from the LFM coin. So if you run your own private channel eventually, which runs off the infrastructure of LFM, this will be part of the functionality that you will get to benefit your community, so that your community can really feel that you are rewarding them and that you love them, right? So the love is going to go both ways. I mentioned earlier on that NFTs are fantastic as a big data tool, because every time it's sold, now we always hear about provenance, right? Provenance, blockchain is good for provenance. For example, diamonds that are mined in Africa, right? The whole channel where the diamond comes to the shop front, you wonder whether was any lives lost, right? In those diamonds which were mined all the way from Africa. And DAPPS, which is one of the largest suppliers of diamonds, they have their blockchain provenance in place to ensure that it's clean diamonds, right? But the moment that diamond is sold to someone, there's no more provenance, right? Now imagine using NFTs with their big data to track that provenance when it's sold. Now, what can that do for your service or your product, right? Because by looking at the analytics of how often it was sold and how much, and the intervals between it was sold, and possibly a little bit of understanding where that NFT was sold to because of the wallet that was owned by a particular person, you might be able to find out even more information about how to launch a better product the next time around, or a better service the next time around, because you can see the behavior in the market once that product or service is sold. And the other thing is, when an NFT encompasses a rights and privilege. Now, an NFT can encompass everything. Now, with that one single token, you don't have to have so many features, so many other sites, or you don't have to go to so many service providers in order to give you a unified solution. For example, here, when you have an NFT that holds a right and privilege to attend your event, a person holding your NFT will not have to go to another platform, download the QR code, show the QR code to your event gateway, and then have it redeemed there. The token itself would enable you to set up that QR code for your customers to be able to take the QR code from within the token to redeem it at your gate. And once it's been redeemed, it's locked as a second layer of record in the meta description of the NFT. And the next time it's resold into the secondary market, for example, that right has already been redeemed and it will not be available for the next buyer. Okay, so imagine you have like 4 to 5 different rights and privileges because you're selling a very, very valuable token. Now, if somebody has already redeemed that first time round, now the other remaining 4 will still be shown in the token when it's resold, right? So there's a power of the combination of many, many functionalities and benefits that you want to try to secure within one instrument. So we call the NFT a multi-dimensional instrument. Let me now just talk a little bit about LFM's key features so that you can understand more about it. So this platform is going to be soft launching in about a week's time. We are going to be onboarding launchers like yourself with a wallet. The next workshop, which is 2 days from now, Wednesday, we're going to talk about how to onboard yourself into a Web3 wallet. What are the different kinds of wallets out there? How to remain secure and so on, right? But once you have the wallet and you're onboarded onto this platform, these are the features. This is the landing page. On the landing page, you will see on the top a lot of the creators, startups, small brands, and even medium-sized brands coming in and launching short reels, which are 1-minute videos, which you can use to build your persona. And then leading into the actual launch, which you'll see in another slide, which is the live launch room. So in this landing page, we'll be featuring the actual NFT collections that are being launched. And you can see also there that there are brand battles and collaborations being happening from some of the brands that are taking advantage of the platform. And then also we have an academy, which I mentioned, and you're part of that, which will teach people how to become a brand and how to promote a brand. And you'll find that at the bottom there, we talk about asset crafting, minting, launching, streaming, community channels, and so on. Yeah. So then your profile as a brand, when you're launching a specific NFT, you could be launching one or you could be launching a collection of them. So you will find that there's a red button on the top left, which is called live. If somebody comes to your page and they want to see your live launch, okay, they will click onto that button if the live launch is available at the very moment in time. Now, but if not, the pre-recorded live streaming from the earlier short reels that you created are recorded there at the lower level in a series, in the carousel that you can play. Each of these short reels are going to be 1 minute. So as a brand, you will build your persona, your story, your narrative about yourself, about your brand, about what you're offering through the short reels, and eventually offer yourself as a long reel through the live button, right? The long reels are going to be 1 hour. Okay, so I'll talk a little bit about that one shortly. So this is how the whole page looks like. And then the data of the NFT, for example, you're the owner. This is your wallet public key address. So everybody's wallet has a public key, and your public key will be shown here. The price will be shown in USDC, the number of days left if it's for bidding. But people can also buy now directly. You might put a price there that they don't even have a bid. They can just buy now. Right? But if you want to have an item that you only want for bidding, it will be then given to you as a choice. Whoever gives you the highest bid, you say that you will sell it to the person at the highest bid. And then there are other details and so on in the NFT. This is a page that will show all the solos, the battles that are happening. It's going to be very exciting, guys, because have you ever seen live reality? Okay, so this is going to be like TikTok on mobile. Okay, so unlike TikTok, where when you scroll up, right, a lot of people are doing funny things, right? But here, when you scroll up on the mobile version, natively designed, you will see a short reel of 1 minute from the brands doing some of the essence of their services and products, narrative about themselves. And then when you swipe left, right, you'll see the actual launch room where you can actually go into the launch room and talk with the launcher themselves. Okay, so this is how the launch room looks like. So the launch room is where you will be able to talk about your NFT and the asset that's represented behind the NFT. Let me just explain what is an asset, right? An asset means something of value. So it could be physical, it could be digital. On OpenSea, what you see those collectibles, right? Those are digital assets. We want you to feature both digital and physical assets, because when you sell an NFT, right, it's very different from the way you sell normal goods and services. You might have a whole range of products and services, right? But you don't sell 99% of those. Those you don't sell here. You take the 1% that's going to be very special, that you know that's going to help you build your brand. Because if you look in history, right, everything that has been a fantastic brand like Rolex, Porsche, and some of the biggest brands in the world, they've all been built from uniqueness. And because they were resold many, many times, right? So you choose from within your arsenal of products and services, something that you can make very unique, and then you launch it right here. And you launch it at a price which is not too expensive, it's reasonable, but then you go into the launch room, you talk about it after having done the short reels. And then on the left here, you find that these are people asking you questions, and this is a collection being launched. And right at the bottom here, you're going to be talking about what comes with the physical and the digital asset, some of the rights and privileges, and you have previous collectors who might be just talking to you as well. And here you have other people coming in showing interest to request to go live and talk to you, right? So, but the people who go live and talk to you, they only come in as audio. They don't come in as video. So only you, the personality behind the brand, representing the brand, together with anybody else that you have with you, will be able to be seen in video by your audience. So at the bottom, Selena Stones here, for example, Selena is the personality behind the brand, which is Selena Stones. She's talking about all her special events and consultations she's giving, right? So that kind of concludes what the features and functions of LFM is. So we're coming close to the 1 hour mark. In fact, we're just on the 1 hour mark. I'll just tell you a bit more of the exciting things that you can expect from the platform, which is very, very much in line with Web3 and the Metaverse. Okay, so in about 2 years, depending on how fast we expand and with your support, we'll be launching our Metaverse. Our Metaverse is going to be a replica of the platform that you saw just now, but brought into an environment which is going to be gamified, three-dimensional, with AR, VR, MR, XR. And you will be able to host your NFTs within a launch gallery, designed within a three-dimensional environment, which you will have partners designing it for you. And with that, you are able to feature your NFTs and be able to interact with other avatars representing real people and be able to talk and communicate with them. Yeah. And it's going to be very exciting because it will run in parallel with a real live game that's going to be running behind it. Julia and I designed this very interesting platform, which we are going to bring to life in 2 years' time, where it's a story of a special civilization, and that civilization is going to run at the same time. So if you happen to be walking in this metaverse here, you will see the brands like yourself being featured on the infrastructure, and then you can hop from room to room or gallery to gallery seamlessly. And then your ability to get into the center where you're holding the premium spot is based on your relevance and your score, how well you're doing in terms of launching and the NFTs that you are selling and marketing. And then you get prime position in the middle. So it's a very different paradigm from anything that you've seen in the metaverses out there, like Roblox, Decentralised, and the rest. We don't sell land here, right? Because we feel that it's not the idea to sell land. So this is our Metaverse that's coming up. Okay, our roadmap is that we're going to bring into the next 3 years. By next year, we're going to have our native app being launched. Right now, we're launching by end of December the desktop platform. And then by next year, we will have the mobile native app. We'll put in the earn benefits. LFM coins will be launched, and we will benefit you as well as the users. And we'll have big data and blockchain ready. Then in the next year, 2024, after that, we're going to start doing private channels. Now, private channels are very, very exciting. Imagine now what we're going to do on LFM, right? It's called the open channel. Now, it's where everybody is found, right? But once you're so successful building your community that a lot of people are buying NFTs, and you've got like a community of like 5 to 10,000 people, you will want to open your private channel. We will then become your technology infrastructure provider to provide you a platform where you only pay us for a service fee. Yeah, we will put in there your ability to launch your own brand tokens so that your community will be able to buy your NFTs and then put them in a vault, right? Imagine your brand. Let's say you were Selena Stones, right? And the stones go up in value. Selena decides that she wants to set up a private channel because she's got like 5,000 community. Now, her community members will keep her stones in the vault, but they don't put it there physically, right? They put the NFT, which represents digitally the physical asset represented by a digital asset, into the vault, and people can actually invest into the vault, or they can just stake in the vault. But in order to buy into the vault or invest into the vault or sell the vault, they have to use Selena Stone's coins in order to invest into that vault. Yeah, and the decision making of how they're going to manage their vault will be run as a decentralized autonomous organization. So this is really, really a complete breakthrough and turnaround paradigm shift from Web 2.0 today. If you don't understand what this all means, we'll take some time to understand it as we go along over the next 1 to 2 years. But the main thing to remember is that it's direct to community, and you're giving control of your platform channel over to the community to control. For example, in your Selena Stones, you might have 10 channels, right, of distribution. Now, Selena, if I'm Selena, I would commit one channel of distribution to this private channel, and I'll let the community run it. Imagine the kind of loyalty that's built up because they are running it. They're running the channel. You no longer run the channel. They tell you what to launch, and then you provide the NFTs to launch to them. And then they thank you, and then they tell you how to improve the next time around. They invest it in the vault, and then they continue to manage the vault, and you continue to serve them. Now, this is the power of Web 3.0, decentralized social, and Web 3.0 commerce. And that's coming up. And then finally, in 2025, we're going to be launching the Metaverse that we just talked about earlier. So I thank you for this attendance, and I would like to invite you for the next workshop, which is just 2 days away, which is this Wednesday. It's going to cover the wallet setup and user onboarding, and the wallet types, and how to get your money, which is your fiat, right? In Web3, we call it fiat. Fiat means your money, which is like Singapore dollars, US dollars. How do you change that into a currency like USDC? And then how to change the USDC back into fiat? We're going to talk about it. So that's on-ramp. On-ramp is when you change from fiat to USDC, and then from USDC, off-ramp into fiat. Subsequent workshops will help you to launch your NFTs more successfully and help you to deploy on Web3, which will help you to outcompete any of the Web 2.0 formats today, help you to build community directly, build virality, and that is how we are seeing you gain first movers advantage into Web 3.0. So perhaps maybe you might ask yourself, where do I start right now, right? Because it all sounds so complex, right? When we started out in 2 to 3 years ago, looking at Web3, having gone through Web2 and learning about blockchain, cryptocurrencies, I would say that you don't have to learn everything. You don't have to know everything. I think what is important is what's important for your profession or your trade. If you're a practitioner, like a professional, or if you have a product or a service that you're selling, ask yourself how you could combine Web3 principles together with Web2. So, for example, you might be running Web 2.0 channels. You might be marketing on Web2 digital media. Now, how do you then take advantage to leverage onto Web3, right? So today, Web3, most of the community, they are tech guys, right? Tech guys and girls. But if you ask people who are younger, like people born after 2000, they're very, very interested in Web3 because they believe in decentralization. In the UK, there was a survey done. Most of the generations that were born after 2000, about 60% of them said that I will not be using the same bank as my parents did, because most of the parents were most likely, born in the 70s or earlier, right? So what does that mean? So if you're looking for a strategy that will link up with the younger generations, Web3 is really the way to go. And we've seen some partners not having done Web3 marketing correctly, in the sense that they're just creating additional art and thinking that it's an NFT and then launching on OpenSea without any engagement strategy whatsoever, right? Because even in Web2, you know that content marketing is key, and inbound marketing is so important because you want to build that connection with your users, right? So it's the same here. In Web3, we don't do outbound marketing anymore. You don't just pay a platform and turn on a tap. It doesn't work that way anymore. You can't buy somebody else's mailing list, because the mailing list is not going to be available for you, because everybody wants to protect their mailing list, right? So the only way that you can really build traction in Web3 is to build your content base, really craft your asset that's going to be included within the NFT, and really dig deep into what you're going to offer your customers. And that's what we cover in the next few workshops. So once you are able to craft it well, and you might find that initially when you send out an NFT, the take-up might be slow, or people won't be able to onboard because they don't know how to onboard with a wallet, right? So this is where we as a partner would be helping you to onboard by helping your users learn about wallets and very, very seamlessly be able to register with the platform, start to show their favorite for your NFTs being launched. Right? We are going to be encouraging you to set up your collaborations, maybe even brand battles. And if you are going to go solo, sure, right? And then how you're going to craft your video, your content, which you're already doing in Web 2, but just tweak it a bit, knowing that Web 3 is all about decentralization, and the community that's using it would want to see more of you. Yeah, they're not just going to watch an advertisement, right? Like in Web 2, you can put up a content that's a lot of narrative and good videos, good quality and everything, but yeah, the connection with you is not there because you didn't give them a tool in order for them to connect with you. So the NFT is that tool that connects directly with you whenever they respond to an NFT airdrop that you send out, right? So and our NFT airdrops are going to be viral, so that it will cause people to refer that NFT airdrop to more of their friends, helping you to then virally build that community. So when you look back in 2000, in the year 90s to 1999, when we had a dot-com era, right? And the whole dot-com era kind of died in 1999. And in 2000, we all thought that internet was going to be dead, right? And then from 2001 to 2004, it was the rising from the ashes of the centralized Web 2.0 platforms like Facebook and Instagram, right? And they became so big till today. So it's just like NFTs. You've seen that NFTs were very, very popular up till like beginning of this year. And then because of the cryptocurrency winter, they call it, the NFTs similarly dropped in value as well, right? So we foresee, just like what Gary V said, after this NFT winter, which we call 1.0, the rising up from the ashes will be NFT 2.0. It's when the NFTs represent real world assets, rights, and privileges, which we hope you will use to do whatever the thing you're going to be doing.